Okay, hey, I'm just gonna show you how to do a few of these. These are, these are actually, um, like almost, they can all be done on the graph too. So let me just show you. So first one I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do exactly what I was doing before, which is just typing in the, let's see, the equation, and it's gonna be this. And so then I'm actually gonna zoom in, and it wants me to find um, a relative maximum and a relative minimum. And so what that means is, what I'm trying to find is I'm trying to find like these little bumps up here. So the only place of interest in the graph is right here and right here. So the relative maximum, which kind of makes sense, is when you go up here, that's where the max is. And then the min is when you go down here, and that's where the min is. So here's the relative max, and again, it makes sense. We're at the top of the hill, and then the bottom of the hill right here. So looks like our relative max is around negative 0.44 right there, and then our relative min is actually, it's at x equals 0. So don't get tricked by the y coordinates. Um, and so it's at negative 0.44 and 0. So looks like actually A is the right one here. Yeah, A is the right one. So I'm just going to put a note in here that this one is A. Okay. So the next one. So actually, the way that you can do this one is I'm gonna get rid of this one. I know. So the way that you can do this one is it's actually through something called function tables. So first, write the equation down, but use this. Use f. I just basically just typed in f parenthesis x and parenthesis, and then so this is a time where you are gonna have it equal to something. And then I'm just gonna end up just typing it in. It's pretty long, but there's a reason why I'm actually doing it. It's not so much to see the graph shape, although that helps. Um, the more important thing is actually getting the values, because that's what ends up being sort of the deciding factor. You could figure this out on graph in terms of graph shape. Um, Jesus, this is long. All right. Um, so hopefully they let me zoom out. Sorry. So this is the graph shape. Looks like I had to have done something wrong here because it doesn't look like it's right at all. Plus 4x4 minus 12x cubed minus 8x squared plus 12. Oh, actually, it looks like this is right. So it's either going to be, so it's either going to be A, A, B, or D. And I'm looking here, and it looks like it's got to be, where's negative 1? It looks like it's got to be something like B. And here's the problem, is that they don't give you the exact graph, and these don't even, the answers that they give you aren't the exact graph. So what they really want you to do here, which is kind of annoying, is they want you to, what they're saying here is make a table of values. So they want you to make a table of values. And so let's see here. I plug in. I wonder if I can plug in. Well, another way to do this. I wish I could do it with. I wish I could do it with this, but another way to do it. It just as simply is. All right, let me show you. So this right here is negative 2. They're looking at values right here. We're negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and 2. So an easy way to do this, and look, they're all. This one's negative 1, 0, 1, right? Negative 2, 1, 0, 1. So easy way to figure out what those values actually are is just to do that. Okay, so I get that, and then I put in this. So I want it at negative 1, I want it at 0, I want it at 1, and then I want it at 2. And so I'm just putting in the values to see where they are. And so that way I can tell, even though they haven't drawn the exact graph, because they want you to actually, make these table of values. So at -2, I'm way below, I'm pretty far below the um, x-axis. It's negative. So this is gone. D is now gone. So I'm stuck between A and B now. And I look at -1, and at -1 here it says 13. So at that point I know it's B. Right? It's got to be B because A is below the 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 x-axis at -1. So that's really the way to do it. I thought there was an easier way with the tables, but I guess this is just, even though it's long, just doing them all out and then finding, okay, well, we found at -1 between these ones, that's where it screws up. So that one's B. And I guess that's the best way to do that one now that I'm thinking about it. So I'll just say that, this one's B. And then, so the next one, this is just a word problem. And again, it's actually just, filling in the values. I'm going to use X instead of T just because I know there have been times where I complained about that. So just to be careful, I'm just going to use X. Alright, so I hope I got that right. Oops. See, I mean, like, sometimes when you don't use that. Okay, so they're telling me that this is the human respiratory cycle, and guess what this is, it's basically like you take in air at this point here, and then you release it here. I'm guessing. Is that true? During a regular respiratory cycle, the volume of air, the volume of air in liters of the human lungs can be described by that, where T is the time in seconds. So how long does it last? It looks to me like it lasts 7.5 seconds, so I'm not sure what's going on here. Let's see. Okay, that's what's going on. I see. I've done this before. You just screw up one thing, and it makes a huge difference. 0.15. Yeah. Okay. So now it looks like it lasts about 5 seconds, right? So you start at 0. You take in air, and then you blow out the air, and it's around 5. So that one should be C. And again, that's just plugging in an equation. You really almost don't even have to read it other than know, like, okay, well, it starts at 0 and then goes to here. So that's that one. And then finally, ABC. Okay, and then finally, so this was something a lot like the last one that you did, maybe just a little bit longer. But so you get this, and then I notice, I'm sorry, I'm not using the keypad down here, just because I know the keyboard shortcuts, and I wasn't even thinking about that. But judging by how well you've done the last quiz, I think you're gonna start getting a handle on how to use it. So here, I'm gonna zoom out. Well, actually, that's too far. So here, what they're doing is they're asking you just where the values are located between. And so what I'm seeing here is I'm only seeing 2 zeros, and really it's better to look at the answer choices, but it looks like one is between 0 and, see how that's between 0 and -1, it's -0.76. So there's one between 0 and -1, and then so like it looks like B would be almost okay, but there's another one right here too, so that wouldn't be the whole answer. There's another one between, that's just over 1, so actually it is between 1 and 2, like they're saying here. So it's between 0 and -1, that's -0.76, and this one's between 1 and 2, and that one's between 1 and 2 right there. So that's going to be, this last answer is D. And that's really weird. I went A, B, C, D, and I just picked those randomly. So I hope that's right because, well, yeah, okay.